Hi, my name is Dr. Laurie Faith, and I'm going to give you a 10-minute overview of what is meant by the term socially shared learning regulation. So, you may have heard this term in a workshop with me. You also might have read it in the book that I wrote with Carol Ann Bush and Peg Dawson called Executive Function Skills in the Classroom. So, I'm going to present to you the problem that I'm trying to solve with this type of learning regulation support. And I'm also going to just describe to you how it kind of looks and sounds and may feel in the classroom when we use it. Um, Basically, I'm really interested in this general discombobulation we're feeling in school right now. Disorganization, inattention, distraction. We see our students being a little bit more impulsive or maybe inflexible. Um, so, we all know that this discombobulation can sometimes be associated with ADHD, but also that most of our students following up on a long hiatus from school due to COVID are sliding further towards these qualities, and that it's challenging. It's challenging for teachers, it's challenging for students, it's challenging for parents. Even before COVID, it was estimated that over 50% of all variation in school performance was due to this discombobulation, over and above language, reading, and IQ. So when I say discombobulation, what I'm really talking about are executive functions. These are the cognitive functions of the prefrontal cortex that help us to perform goal-directed intentional activity. So anytime we're operating outside of habit or routine, we are using EFs. Things like organization, planning, time management, which is to say that EFs are essential for learning, growth, improvement, for those breakthrough moments of success. Students with ADHD tend to have weaker executive functions, true enough, but so do our students with a wide range of different learning disabilities, autism, um, and also, from day to day, all of us, students and adults included, can experience suppressed executive functions when we're tired, when we're sad, when we're lonely or bored, if we feel a little bit excluded, if we're hungry or sick. The truth is, we all struggle one day or the other, maybe more often than others, maybe less often than others, but we all struggle to apply ourselves with full executive functions sometimes. What is the remedy? Well, there is broad consensus that early training in self awareness and strategy use is a remedy that works for everyone. There's also broad consensus among teachers that going around a classroom doing this self awareness training and this strategy support in a one to one relationship with students isn't feasible. School boards tell us, and school funding authorities tell us that providing one-to-one tier 3 support for every single student who struggles isn't really appropriate because it's not affordable. And there's pretty broad consensus among students as well that honestly, adults, don't knock yourselves out because we'd rather not be singled out in a one-to-one way anyways. So we're in this place now where everybody's wondering, can school actually help students who are discombobulated, overwhelmed, inattentive, disorganized? Is it only the students who maybe have parents with the resources to get them adequate one on one support, or with the resources to just spend all that one on one time with them? Is it only those students who are going to get to succeed and learn to manage their executive functioning challenges? That can't be the answer. So I have a big idea to share with you today, and that is that socially shared learning regulation support may be the answer. I think we need to show teachers how to respond to that discombobulated student, not by clamping down, reducing expectations, or getting frustrated, or seeking resources for additional one on one support, but by doing something different. And this is going to sound ridiculously simple, but when students are discombobulated, research tells us that actually what we don't yet do is pull the whole group together and say, hey, everyone, we're in this together. Um, let's talk together about what's hard about this task for us and what strategies we might use to be more successful. That's socially shared learning regulation. And then after this invitation is made, teachers need to do something that's quite enjoyable. They need to listen up, learn, be curious about their students, be delighted, be validating of the things that they find challenging, and be autonomy supportive about the ways that they plan to be successful. We need to let the students thrive in a culture of self awareness and strategy. We need to let them see that their friends also struggle, let them explore their friends' strategies, and then let their friends explore theirs. So, this is where motivation can grow in our classrooms with more autonomy and a sense that I'm competent and skilled as a strategizer, and a sense of belonging in a community that really listens to me and knows me. It's a simple protocol, the barriers and strategies protocol. It can be repeated throughout the school day. So on the playground, students fighting over soccer rules, let's say, we can blow the whistle, call them all into a group socially shared conversation, and say something like, hey, you seem to be having a really hard time, but I really believe in us. I know we can solve this problem together. So what's hard about this activity for all of us? Uh, and we might hear diverse and unexpected answers to that question, like, well, Joe never passes to me, or uh, one set of nets is bigger and wider than the other one, and the whole game feels unfair. Or maybe there are too many players on the field right now, and I feel overwhelmed. Then, after we sort of analyze the problem in this way with all of the students, we ask, okay, well, that makes sense. That's hard. So, what kind of strategies can we use to be successful? Because I know we can succeed at this. What are your good ideas? And we might hear students telling us, oh, well, why don't we play in shifts? We did that in gym class and it seemed to work. Or we might give students an opportunity to turn to their friend and say, I'm sorry, I didn't realize I wasn't passing to you. I'm going to try to pass to you the next time we play. Or students just saying, let's just fix the darn nets. I'm going to take my jacket off and I'll make my jacket the other net. So we can solve these problems that stop us. This type of barriers and strategies approach can also be done throughout the day in a classroom. So let's say we're supposed to be writing about a historical event, but nobody's doing it. Classic. Instead of rolling up your sleeves, wading in and reducing expectations, maybe trying to find some one-on-one remediation for certain students, you can just do some socially shared learning regulation. That's going to sound like, hold on, everybody, let's talk. We're having a hard time with this, and I know we can do this. This is not too hard for us. We can do really hard things. So let's problem solve. What are our barriers to this writing task? We may hear students telling us, I know what my idea is, I just can't get started, but I have such a great idea. Or they might say, I forget the name of the thing that I'm trying to write about. What was the name of that thing? Or we might hear students saying, I'm really sorry, I missed the instructions and I was a little embarrassed to admit it. And then we could say, great, thank you so much. I'm learning about your needs as learners. I'm taking on pedagogical knowledge. And I completely understand that's the kind of thing that I struggle with too when I'm trying to get something done. Um, we can also say, I know there is someone in here with a great strategy idea. So help us out, everybody. What can we do to be successful? Students may say, you know what? I like to talk with a friend to get going. And you can say, great, let's do that. Let's make some time to talk with somebody if you need to get your ideas flowing. Or we can just say to the student who missed the instructions, I can tell you the instructions again, no problem. And from now on, I'm going to write them in a little spot on the board. So if you ever need to know what the instructions were, just check that spot, because I've taken on some pedagogical knowledge today that I'm not going to forget. And I've learned and grown as a teacher. Or we might say, here's a text that will help you to remember some of those names and some of that vocabulary that you're forgetting. I forget words sometimes too, and this will help you to remember those words that you need. And we didn't need an educational assistant to take one or two students down the hall to achieve this. And we didn't need to give them a sentence starter or a fill in the blank or reduce it from a whole page to a paragraph. So instead, we as educators took on wisdom about our students as learners. We shared with them what we tend to struggle with in response to their sharing about what they tend to struggle with. And we all came into closer connection and know each other a little bit more as a result. We delivered the self-awareness and the skill development that has been proven to help, and we kept our students together like a team, like friends, like equals, like a community where everyone belongs and everyone can help in a maybe a different way. We can help based on where we come from. Our family culture may have some, uh, interesting hobbies, tricks, strategies. There may be a game we play at home that nobody at school knows about that would help the rest of the class to be strategic or to understand how to manage the task. So this is the big idea behind socially shared learning regulation and the little barriers and strategies protocol. I hope this was helpful. There's so much more to share, but if you want a little 10-minute booster on what socially shared learning regulation is, that's about the best that I can do. Thanks, everyone.